I would like to introduce to you Georg Stoll from Misereor, and I would like you some questions concerning our workshop about development and global common good. The first question for us would be, what do you think are the main problems of development concerning your own country, which means concerning Germany?
Actually, I think maybe the central problem is that we don't consider development to be a relevant category for our own country. We look for other countries as being in need of development, but we ourselves, we don't apply the word of development for our own country. And maybe that's already the main problem, because it shows that we have a very restricted understanding of development that is mainly focused on economic strength, economic growth even. And since we are economically doing not that bad, we think there are only minor changes to do. And we don't see the big problems. Our way of living, our way of organizing our economy is causing, both at the social level worldwide and at an environmental level worldwide. With respect to this, we need development. We need to develop our way of living.
The second concept we discussed during the last days was the concept of common good. What are the key elements of a common good in your opinion?
I think common good mainly is about sharing life, sharing the diversity, the richness of life in a way that allows other people to live also their life in a dignified way, in a decent way, and also for future generations to live their life, and to add also for creation, to be able to share life and also to be allowed to live, because we often consider nature as an object, as something that is good for our use, and we don't see how much nature is important for our life and also needs space to live.
Do you think it makes sense to talk about a global common good then, in that perspective?
We are living on one planet, and I don't see actually humanity or the plants and the animals being able to leave this planet. So the planet is our world in some meaning, and therefore we have to see how we are organizing, how we are living together on this planet. And in this sense, I think a global common good is a very important concept, because we are used to focus on our nearer surrounding, our near environment. The nation states are still playing a dominant role, and we have a lot of difficulties to get to a joint, common, broader visions of how we should find ways to share our life at the planetary level.
Looking again to Germany, what do you think are the traditions or even cultural characteristics German society could bring in the discourse about development and global common good?
I think there are some strengths and some challenges, specific maybe to a country like Germany. One strength probably is the experience we have in establishing institutions, in building what we achieved with what we call a social market economy within a democratic framework. So we now have democratic checks and balances. We have a rather big awareness on social problems, and I think this is something that we can also share, and for instance in discussions with environmental groups always also point to the social aspects of the common good. I think this is one of the strengths we can share. But there are also challenges. One challenge I think is to look for ourselves how we as a community that is rather well off economically, as I said at the beginning, how we can find ways to live in harmony with nature, and also in harmony with people in other parts of the world that are in a difficult situation. How can we find a way, for instance, to live with much less resource use than we are used to? if not we, and with all our wealth, are able to find these ways, how will people who are suffering for their day-to-day life be able to find these ways? For us, it's not that difficult to look for different ways, and I think that's a challenge we should really face, and we should, by doing this, allow space for people in other parts of the world to still grow, to still have more share in what we have to share in our joint planet.
I have a last question concerning the concrete political steps. Which are, in your eyes, the most important political steps the world society should go through during the next decade concerning a fair and sustainable development process?
First of all, I think the world society does exist and does not exist. So that means that one of the main challenges will be diversity, to recognize diversity of our different ways of life and to allow space for this diversity. One important thing that would then be as a consequence would be to fight a system that does not allow, that does not give space to diversity. A system that is commodifying nature, that is commodifying our social life. So this is one of the important things we have to do at different levels of the planet. This is one thing that we have in common, that we have to provide space that allows then to develop alternatives to this misleading way of living. And this would be another challenge, another concrete step to do that within the space given, really to invent, to be creative, to look for new alternative ways of living and to share these ways with other people, and thereby to broaden common ground that allows us for a just and sustainable way of life.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.